Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 9. So we are back with The Flash in this coming week after a week off, with the episode we're coming back with, of course, being the, I'd say pretty well advertised, at least, you know, when they were filming the episode, mini Supergirl crossover of sorts with Nia Nal, aka Dreamer, coming over to Central City, or more specifically, the Central City Citizen Media Building, to talk to Iris, which leads to some drama, some adventure, and I guess just overall shenanigans. With the episodes after this, up until the end of the season, with like the series finale as well on May 24th, looking to be pretty good. I know this season has been a bit of a rough one for a lot of people with weird focusing and stuff like that, but I have faith and confidence the good majority of the remaining episodes will be good, if not great. But in this video, we're going to go over the first like tease or sneak peek as well, and just look into the Oliver Queen return episode in episode 9 of this 9th and final season, as well as some other stuff from this coming week's episode with Nia Nal from Supergirl and some other minor stuff as well. So yeah, let's get into it. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on all this. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking, any theories and predictions you have as well, let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, looking forward to this stuff, drop a like on the video, it takes 2 seconds. So first up, let's go over that tease for the 9th episode of this season, otherwise known as the Oliver Queen return episode, or otherwise entitled, It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want To. So we know that we'll be waiting a bit longer for this episode, unfortunately, to come out, due to the fact that The Flash will be taking 2 weeks off, or 2 weeks without an episode off, without an episode, obviously, after episode 8 and before episode 9, which is going to be probably one hell of a long 3 weeks off in total, seeing so many people are looking forward to this episode, and especially if they decide to leave a bit of a cliffhanger at the end of episode 8 leading into episode 9. That'd be pretty frustrating. But yeah, as we brought up in the video last week or something like that, episode 8 airs on April 5th, and episode 9 will not air until April 26th. So talk about a tease. But yeah, speaking of teasers, Stephen Amell tweeted this out probably yesterday from when you're seeing this video. So obviously this is some dialogue, and it says, okay, Barry, let go. Barry, let go. So this is apparently Oliver Queen from The Flash 909, or episode 9 of season 9. Now, of course, people were just pretty excited we're getting like anything from this 9th episode, because of course we had all that hoopla and, you know, excitement when they were filming the episode. But since that point, that hasn't really been much. That's because there hasn't been any promotional material, because the episode is still, I guess at this point, like a month away, even though it's only like, what, 3 episodes away in the context of the season. Now, in regards to what this is specifically talking about, I did see people saying that it might be about Barry and Oliver hugging or something like that. It could be that, I'm not too sure. But we know there was a scene in this episode when they were doing filming, and then we saw from set photos, where I think it's Barry and Oliver. It might have been other characters like Wally there as well, doing it as well, but at least I think we saw the shot and it was Barry and Oliver holding onto ropes, or like they were holding onto something that looked like it could be in ropes. And it looks like it might be attached to something that will be CGI in the episode. So when, you know, Oliver's saying, Barry, let go, I think it's like, let go of the rope, because this is it. Now, that might not be what it is, but I think that was something that they were doing when they were filming this episode, like from the set photos. Now, I'd assume that it's blood work. I mean, if it's going to be something like CGI creature or something, you would think it's blood work, unless like there's some weird nightmare stuff going on where they can make anything appear, might I say. But I would assume it's blood work, just because we know he's in the episode. But yeah, maybe it is Oliver and Barry hugging, and Barry's like, I don't want to let go because you died, and now you're like this weird Spectre thing potentially, depending on what's happening in this episode. So maybe that's what's happening, but I think it's them like holding onto ropes, and Barry doesn't want to let go of the rope. But yeah. Now, obviously, there is many questions around Oliver's return, and obviously the main one is like how exactly it happens, because that's just still up in the air. We don't 100% know. I think most are settled on it being Spectre, because Eric Wallace, the showrunner for The Flash, did say that what happens in this episode revolving around the events and just Oliver Queen returning in general, it does not affect how Arrow ends or the series of events leading up to it. But then again, it does look like they filmed some scenes on Lian, or at least the area of Vancouver that they used to pose as Lian, like the inner forest area. Now, this also is, I think, where also the Flash uses, like when he went to see Grodd in the, not last episode, but episode 5. I think that's also the area they use parts of for like the Yan So it depends if it's like the beach area, or if it's actually like the inner foresty area, depending on what the scene is, I guess. But it seemed like it was just that general area that they would use for Lian where they filmed at. So who knows exactly what's happening in this episode, but it extends outside of Central City by the looks of it. Now, there is a rumor that and we talked about this before, that there was going to be some like weird timeline issues, and that could be the reason that Oliver comes back. So what we could be seeing here is maybe it's just an alternate timeline that's happening here with Oliver Queen showing up. So there's an alternate timeline where Oliver didn't die, or where he can come back and it doesn't affect things. Something along those lines. That was a rumor. We'll have to wait and see though. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to like find out and see what happens though. Like obviously I'm very excited for this episode, but we don't really have too much info outside of the obvious things that we've seen. Now we will probably be waiting like another good couple of weeks, I would say, for the synopsis and promo images because of the longer break before this episode does air. So yeah, the next sort of like flow, if you want to put it, of news and updates around this episode might still be a few weeks away. But of course, we'll talk about it when they show up again. So just keep your eyes and ears out there. But the next thing to go over is some more promo stuff for this upcoming week's episode of The Flash, which, as we stated before, is that like mini Supergirl crossover of sorts with Nia Nal, aka Dreamer, dropping into Central City, which is met with a fever dream adventure with herself and Iris getting stuck and needing Team Flash to get out, or at least appearing that they need Team Flash to help them get out. Now, we obviously don't know too much of what happens in this fever dream, but it seems like it might be very similar to like the musical crossover and also that episode from season 5, I think it was like Barry and Nora going into like Grace, like the young Grace from Cicada's Grace, into her memories or dreams or something like that. Very similar to that. Like that, I think they're using the same contraptions and technology within Star Labs to allow that stuff to happen, or at least to keep them contained once they're in that fever dream. Like the only thing that seems to be the case that we know about is that the mystery hooded figure, which was in the trailer for this entire season, appears to be the one that sticks Nia and Iris into this, this said fever dream, whatever it's going to be. But that's a wait and see. We'll have to see, we'll have to wait and see just to know what exactly goes down. But that hooded figure, everyone's still so curious about this character. You'd have to think it's someone we know because they're hooded and we don't see their face. But then again, we might not see who it is at all. Maybe it's just a random person that does this and runs off and we never see them again. I don't know. But yeah, we did get some promo images, so I'll just scroll through these quickly. There's only 5 and they don't really spoil anything. They're very spoiler free, very basic. Wasn't even going to really go over them too much, but I thought we'll do it for the sake of it. So we get Nia showing up at Central City, the citizen media thing, whichever way you want to put it, and her talking to Iris. And there's the next shot here of them sitting down and Iris talking to Nia. Important to remember, these characters I don't think have ever met, or did they meet in Crisis in that first episode? I can't remember, to be completely honest. But I'm going to assume they're just going to have development off screen, just say they met off screen because that's the cheat code. Obviously, in a perfect world, they wouldn't do this, but they don't really like spending time developing Iris as a singular character. So I'm guessing it just all happened off screen. Well, I'm assuming that's what's happened, but we'll wait and see. Maybe this is the first time they're meeting. I don't know. Then we do get Chester and Keone here. We know Keone has like a weird storyline with Chillblaine in this episode, which doesn't sound very good. But then again, I don't know, they're still trying to figure out who she is and what her powers are. And of course, this is following the reveal at the end of episode 6, where we learn that she isn't a metahuman and she also just isn't human. So they're obviously going to be doing a lot of tests on her to figure out what's going on. But maybe it's about her trying to figure it out on her own, like Keone trying to figure out exactly what she is. So that's like an interesting mystery that's going to linger through the rest of the season. And I'm very curious to see what plays out there. A lot of people think she is just going to be like the actual Greek goddess of like snow, which is what Keone is. But then again, there is the whole life force potential there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Then there is one of here, Chester and Allegra. Just let's skip it. And then we have here of Grant. So Grant and Barry is in the episode. We knew that from the trailer as well. I just think it's a minor role because he's doing so much in the final 5 to 6 episodes of this of the show. And as you would expect, he is the Flash. So they've given him like 2 weeks off pretty much, where in one episode he's not really in it at all. And in like this episode 7, he's like a supporting player, not really doing too much, which they've done in previous seasons. It's nothing new. It happens all the time. It's happened pretty much since season 2 onwards. So yeah, it's not too much of a shock, but he is in the episode for people that were wondering. And the final thing to go over is something that a lot of people brought up to me. Now, this is about Cisco not being in the final season or just the finale as well. Now, Carlos Valdez, who played Cisco, was at a convention like over the past week or so alongside Daniel Panabaker, who plays Caitlin, Frost, Keone, all of them, as well as Robbie Amell, who played Ronnie Raymond on the show. And Carlos was asked about being in the final season, and he pretty much gave a non-answer. And even Danielle appeared to act as if she hadn't seen Carlos in a while and was really stoked to be, with him and hang out and stuff like that, which would suggest him not actually physically being in the final season, going to Vancouver and filming. However, there is the chance that he did film something remotely to act as a FaceTime call or Zoom call type scenario, maybe him and Argus or something like that, whether it's in the finale or it's in an earlier episode, something along those lines. It would be super, super weird if Cisco doesn't show up in some way in this finale. I'd be happy if he's on screen in like a Zoom call type thing because, logistically, maybe he just couldn't show up. That just happens. He wasn't contracted to the show. And he's an actor, he's got to work and stuff, so he had other projects. So that's fine. But I think it'd be weird if they didn't make an effort. And like this is like a really low effort thing that people would still like, having like a FaceTime call, Zoom call type scenario thing. So hopefully that happens. It is a wait and see. Nothing's been confirmed as of yet, and he didn't give it away, and none of the other people there at the convention, like Danielle, gave it away. So yeah, I guess we'll have to just wait and watch the rest of the season and find out. My bet's just on like a Zoom call type scenario, but who knows? Maybe we'll get a big surprise. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want to show support, you can drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on all the stuff we went over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.